ba rab sa la ne ka dan den ju shung lu dong ba ye lo zhe hu be nang wa ca len du so lo gang ce da wa ran de bam chung se zhe wa ran de na yang gong bo jam yang jian nian nen ge me ba yang tong wa ra ye shuo ninja chenpo tsude nimen chen, sung ne me nom chenpo ngam ja tao, pe kar tarang chen do chen men do, tenpa to je chen la cha sa. Ningen cong long pe me dong bo le, yal we nam tu rang shen fen je do, chen zo pe je yuan ten cong pa wa, pe ma ju ne ta le pe su re jong, lu do tong me a ya de wan dang, yin yen chong lang chu ge zhao pe xiao, yuan ten yue dang shang ge yue la su. Gen zhu chong ni nam la so lo wa de be ma we sen ge gang ge ri ge me se de long nen cong zen kun zen jiang chang be ba je de zi gu nie ba rong sum chu ge sang bo jiao ju ro ye chi gang de tu ga la ren chen ning be gu yuan den kun zhong ga yue jie zi le do ning be den do be be na ju ro ba long chen rab jam shao la so ba de ri don jam ba le shen ne chi la le gong be long ne bo be dun je do long do chen zi jiang tu nga wang ju mi ban jam yang nam jia la so wa de wo min che ji yin je pu rong ne du sun sang je kun je ngo wa ne wa sun chen guo mo sun dong ze ba za we lam me sha la so lo wa de Teyang zhuwa namgi tada nyambe simjen tamje dungali yunde nidang chalde tabja lanna mepa yang dapar zobe sanje je kobang rinpo che la kobara kiwo teyi chidu tambi chwe tenye senjin chulshindo nyamsul langwara kiwo nyambe samba changju chodo tukepa rinpo che salta bego ne sembar shu gang sembar chawe chugi rinpa ne kebe chulla jugi go she chawe tenjo tenye yinbar Dila yang kebi ne chu tene chuge domshi soso yang dakpa rikpa shi ki kone sungi yoba le tene kebi ne chu kabla re tene kebi ne chu tene la tangbo pungbo la keba di kabla pungbo de la yang ena pungbo la ena nga yobe nang ne tene shiba duji di pungbo duji di pungbo de la yang tene zosem dang tene je 총돈도 주로 봐서 심중 맞춤 마식 생제 당 네, 조선당 총된도 주로 총된 멤버 대민도제 총된 민바 대민도제기 최선들이 유변하네 총된 멤버가 되대요.
At the beginning of class, please give rise to bodhicitta, thinking, may all sentient beings, who are as numerous as the sky is vast, attain a state that is free of suffering and the causes for suffering. And in order to establish all these sentient beings at the level of perfect and complete Buddhahood, the ultimate result, may I be able to study and put the teachings correctly into practice. So with that kind of motivation, please engage in your studies. The text that we are currently studying here is The Gateway to Knowledge by Mipam Rinpoche. And it is outlined by 3 main topics, which are the 10 topics of expertise, the 4 seals of Dharma, and the fourfold correct discrimination. Out of these 3 topics, we're currently discussing the first one, the 10 topics of expertise, and within those we're at the first, the aggregates. The aggregates are divided into 5 types of aggregates, which are form, sensation, perception, formation, and consciousness, and we're currently discussing the 4th one, formations. And there are 2 types. The first type are those formations that are concurrent with the main mind, that come along with the main mind. So there we spoke about the 51 mental states. And now we are currently discussing then those kinds of formations that are not concurrent with the main minds. And so those are then the non-concurrent formations.
So, 당원 지워시도 지워가시시디 나라 토바당 마토바스 되네 티골라게 제주순스 나 토바 시바데 네 개와당 미개와 강이나 아니 수수기 개와추 더위나 개와추기 랑기 줄라 개와데 토비기 제기 차스다 네 다나시 마토바데라 도바제 랑스노 도바데라 데네 나랑소 당보 안에 개와도 토비에 돈바도 베나 제라양 디 제라양 돈바도데 매와도 차스는데 간 디디양 마토바 차도데스 토바스는 더 소소라 유비 내값이기 명시라다 유비 내값기 값통식이 차지라다 토바스 대두리가라 마토바 차도데스
아니 마토문라 마토바르베스
마토문라 마토바레
So we had a few questions that came in yesterday, and the first one was with regard to acquisition and with regard to acquisition and dispossession, or non-obtainment or non-acquisition. And the question was if acquisition refers to the acquisition of the virtue or non-virtue or neutral aspects in one stream of being, then what does the dispossession refer to? Is that only after what one has possessed is gone again, or is it also before one has obtained that thing? So acquisition itself refers to the acquisition of virtue, non-virtue, or neutrality based on engaging in the 10 virtuous actions or the 10 non-virtuous actions, or anything like that. So it's the aspect of having acquired or having obtained, having got this virtue, having that. So it's the aspect of the acquisition of that virtue or non-virtue or neutrality. So what then does dispossession refer to? That's the opposite. That is when one does not have the particular aspect. So if one takes a vow, for example, a virtuous vow, and so one has the acquisition of the virtue of that vow, and then that comes to an end, one gives the vow back or something like that, then when that virtue stops being with one, being an acquisition, then that will then be dispossession. And so I clarified further. So this means that whenever we don't have it, when we don't have that virtue, then we have the dispossession of that virtue. And then I clarified further, does that also refer to the time before we have the acquisition, before the vow is taken and one has the acquisition of the virtue of the vow? Yes. So it refers also to the prior time, any time that the virtue or that particular aspect of the acquisition is not acquired previously or later, that is dispossession.
The tobi chati mingla dimen doje laves yang domba de tang kansan de denzul da de subo de tang denzul ke je shemare da domba de tobi chade la dimen doje es toba.
So the non-concurrent formation of acquisition here is really just the aspect of having gotten something. It is not referring to the vow itself or to the person or the physical body or physical thing that is acquired. It refers just to the aspect of acquisition, this non-concurrent formation here.
네, 지와 카가데 토바당 군신이 데 자우 통계도 게 미게 된조 나 메바데네 사르도 소소라 토비 용한데나 토바스 제 토비 차는 거 다 심바데네 박차 샤고요레 생기 토라 군시 땡라 박차 딩이 직토비 차당 지 박차 샤비 박차 샤게게 차직당 직된 뭐만 매와다 단다 신내지 토베라고 차다지도 와 딩이 카가 인사래.
And there was a question with regard to acquisition and the all-ground consciousness, or the seeds in the all-ground consciousness, that they somehow seem to sound similar or alike. And so acquisition refers to the aspect of acquiring something anew. Getting something, the acquisition of some aspect, while the all-ground consciousness and the seeds in the all-ground consciousness refers to the habitual tendencies that are created. So it really refers to two different things. Acquisition is to acquire, to get, to receive, or to obtain something, the obtainment of any of these virtuous, non-virtuous, or neutral aspects. So we have to understand that these are two different topics.
맞아. 군시생인데 다 곰지라고 지를 죽인지라 곰시 땅도 죽인다고 지. 곰지 땅도 죽인다고 지. 근데 토바생인데 응ар 매와지 살도 지 토바라고 지 딘데기. 계자지 독자지도.
So when we talk about the all-ground consciousness, then this is really has to do with habituation, the creation of habits and habitual tendencies, while obtainment here refers to the fact of obtaining something new, something that one didn't have before, to then receive that or get that, to acquire something new that one didn't have before.
네. 대 주세 주부대 조심 녀몽부 이대한 조심 군신 남시에 대한 조심 디간스나 공조 대 디 조스 직대 간스나 주세 주당 녀몽바 예당 군신 남시에 어 된족이 조심 된족이 코르라 아니 심중합 중하시 된조 안에 다이 샤게도스.
Then we had another question about the main mind, which of the consciousnesses refers to the main mind, and the 6 engaging consciousnesses, as well as the afflicted mind, as well as the all-ground consciousness, they are all categorized as the main mind because they are all accompanied by mental states.
군시 코르도 군종나 유레스 수마레.
It is said that the all-ground consciousness is accompanied by the 5 ever-present mental states.
네, 다 고비념주대 골라양 계자제도 다 고비념주대 아니 당공 다데 파과이 줄라 유레스 년대 파바당 산제 파바라 택신 파바다 된저기 줄라 고비념주스 해가지고 유레스 다 단다 두루양 계제직 숭디가라 또 시양 가르스는 년대 파바게 고비념주대라 잡네 샤나 지기다 간다라 고비념주스디가라 녀몽바 고비 차지스 녀몽바 된저다 셈숨중기 된저 녀몽바 된저다니 고비 차지스 단데데 년대게 파바네 아니 산제 파바다데 지용기 계저시나 고비님주 세나갈라 지당 계저시나다 년대 파바다 아니 대신 파바 탐제기다 녀몽을 덜비 차되기면 고비님주 다 단다 디니 내갑세 다 계저 된다 숨용데 갑텔라 베나 고비님주 시제레 겐도 게데스 아니 드네라데 삼마 드네 디당 아니 주주라 카나세나 뇽주기 예세라 셈라레 깨버롱어 세네 텐델라티 갑라티 년대 파바데 고비뇽 고발은 뇽브라 죽네 라리앙 군시디 코롱 여대여레스 딜라리앙 택싱게 남나 시네 조토기레스 람딘데기 빼지 차네들 숨와 한디도 깝텔라 지단기 고군님 주선 택신당 택민 파박에 유몽 달비 차들은 이전에 고야레데 단다디니 깝락 숨이 깝텔라 아니 년대 기 파박에 줄라 여바기 고군님 주 잡지 계셨습니다.
Then we had a question about the serenity of cessation. And so we said that this is the serenity of cessation in the mind streams of noble beings. And generally, we can understand that as referring to the noble beings of the Shravakas, so the Arhats, as well as the Bodhisattvas, the noble beings of the Mahayana path. Generally, it refers to the state where all the afflictions have ceased, where all the afflictive obscurations have ceased, and so all afflictive mind and mental states have ceased. In that serenity, in that meditative state. So generally, it refers to all the noble beings of the Shravakas and the Shravakas, Parteka Buddhas, and the Bodhisattvayana. But here specifically in our explanation, the example that is given is that upwards from the summit of existence. So here we need to understand this as referring specifically to the serenity of cessation in the mind stream of the noble beings of the Shravakayana. So here we are referring to the Arhats and the serenity of cessation of the Arhats. And we see that further because it mentions the all-ground consciousness for the re-entering into the path, which means like out of the cessation that is experienced by the Arhats or that is obtained by the Arhats, because the all-ground consciousness is still present, then they re-emerge and can re-engage in the higher paths, saying the paths of the Bodhisattvas, the Mahayana. So while usually or generally we can understand the serenity of cessation as the state where the mind and mental states, all afflicted mind and mental states cease, both for noble beings on the Shravaka path as well as the noble beings on the Bodhisattva path. Here specifically, we refer to the, like just in this explanation here, in this context here, we refer to the serenity of cessation of an Arhat.
ane dangone mala ta demen duje kashi chi shu sin ne ane kasam ge chamne sok ge wangbo ne samjin ri thum bar mon le gi wang ge chi cham ne bi du nge pa che she joba kang yin ba wo demen duje nang ne ta sok she wa de sok wangbo she wa de ne samjin ri thum bar sa ri thum bar ke chi ge rita ri thumbar sende galata simjen de bena kene sunne ala tene kene sunne ala tene keji ri thumbar chiba tene ala shonu tene ala tene dharma la la so tene ya lor chir dene ne rimba shin ri thumbars monge legi wange sta jawa ma suzuge ane le kandeji sa yona rwa legi wangi chi tsam ne ba se legi wangi tene lo kazu tube do lo ngapchu chukchu tena pe lo sumchu yang khashene dawa khashene yang kema tha do la sopa mangpo chigirwa kashi niyang mai ngal la sopa tinte kangdang kang tuisu kangdang kang rangi ta le ki wangi si tine chi tsam ne paas chi tsam ne paas chi tsam do ne peki digi chadi la digi chadi ming la sok la giri si chi tsam ne pa sok singin tang tse singin pa tanda kapto tanda di kapto de la tine tuanjik redawa tse singin tang nga tse yore tse yore zog du laidu tang song ni di ngani tse di ki tape na subu ki ani namshe subu na la namshe sheba yore di tamje zimbar chi ne tine nga zo mashiwa chi ne ne tu yore wa tang di la ni so ki wangbo se du nge pa tse se du nge pa lo chuk chuam lo ngap chuam lo sum ju yang na lo kya la so ba ten tu su kang dang kang tseng yo ba tin je la nen chu ba kang yin ba ti se ta so ge bo ta tu ga la yang nga zo zu bu ge chue dang an hen nam she dang o den zo deng king ge cha ji de wa nga zo ge che ma shi wa de king ge ne ge cha ji de wa ta o de min la so ge ong bo sin la ge yang nga zo ma shi wa de ge mi de ge su bu de zin la ge ma su de yang su ge phung bo na la ge wa an she ba de sa chi ri pa na la ge re 인터넷 주 나니 베나 rek자나가 두기제로와 중마시기 rek자스나오데 다 된조 깨잖아 다 된조 탐제 네바르 재미니 차 체지로와 안에 탐제 짐바르 책인지 와 어디 명라데네 속 기왕보스네 라바레스 손 데민두제
So now we will continue from where we left off yesterday, and we're on page 32, paragraph 1.113 now, which is the explanation of life faculty, the non-concurrent formation of life faculty. The life faculty is what is called lifespan for a similar class of sentient beings. The particular length of time they can remain through the power of former karma. So when we speak here about the life faculty, that refers to the life faculty that is present for a life sentient being to stay within the same kind from moment to moment. So that one similar moment of the experience of that individuum to the next is similar. So from birth until the moment we die, that is the lifespan, or that's the life faculty that keeps where one moment is similar to the next moment, and again to the next and the next. So from like every moment is very much alike to the other. There's a slow change from a young age to becoming older, but each moment is similar, not the same, but similar to the previous moment. So one stays within the same kind of experience throughout one's life. And so that's how long that continues is based on the karma which has previously been accumulated, and it is different for different beings. Some people live until they're in their 30s, some until they're in their 60s, some way beyond that. Some beings karma for having the similar the continuum of similar experiences only for a few months. For some, the lifespan runs out. This life faculty comes to termination after just a few breaths after birth. So it really varies how long that continues, and that's based on previously accumulated karma. And so what we refer to here as lifespan is the continuation from birth to however long one is alive. We call it lifespan, we call it life faculty. It is the time for as long as this body is induced with consciousness. So until the lifespan is that which is present until one dies, until one passes away. So for that time, there's the warmth of life, being alive in the body. There's the consciousness present, and it's this aspect of being alive, for this aspect of there being this continuation that is called life force. It is not the consciousness, it's not the body. The body is a matter, right? The consciousness is clear and aware by definition. The life force is neither of those, but still it's a conditioned phenomena that describes the that holding together, or this keeping things together for the life, the time from birth until death. So the stability of having similar moments of experience following one after the other throughout one's life. So this aspect of staying within one kind is this lifespan, neither body nor consciousness.
Dijela kewanis dujenam yujinde tsone chungwa dujenam ngar machungwa le dadar chungwa de la kewas la byes ngar machungwa duje ge chö denzo ngar machungwa danda sardu danda chungwa denzo mingla kewas pechashana bena linkala ngar tsa mene danda linka pangka nangla danda tsa kena dede mingla kewas da linka ge tsa kewas de kana linka 자들랑 말에 딱고 뭐만 요 말에 단다 싹두지 계속만 온디 계비 차디게 명라 되면 두제스 네바니 데 균네바오스 데 균네바오스 엔다 게 샤와디게 양 균도지 바 마체와 단 네바스 당한저디 균데라 양 간스나 베나 라파 양 차와 균니 담바 지 초기라와 답이나 rapado tsena pena zangal pankala tsa tanda dawa dile ke sungna ten dawa ni sum shibado kazo dege na de mingla yang chi 균 ne basanda ira yang chawala samlo dana 단지 쇼가 게 아니 단지 쇼가 기 짜데 단다 인공데 말에 인공게 대장 치료데 말에 다 딘데신에 차와게 불라 삼로 땅나 양 코롱 양균 차와요라 강다라 양균 차와 이나라도 균 락바 이나라도 강다냐 콜 짜디 깨네 매와 하자게 받돌라 네비 차지려라 온디 민라 아니 네바스 균 네비 차디 민라 균 여비 차디 민들라 되니 데멘두제나는 네바시 바데 되니 가와스인데 균 현도 줄바오 선숭자라 균 현도 당보 아주 아니 깨네 되니 림바 신도 제 공바보와 아니 림바 신도 되니 로야라 치루 되는 조교라미 나던 어딘 된조명라더니 가와스 균신도 줄바오 따딜라양 라바단 차와니가 샤여레 균 가와델라양 베나 차와 삼로 단다 되니 감스나 줄데라 라팔라 삼로 담나야 제 감스나 나만이 단다 바둘라 지니 라파 침보 찍라다 줄와다고 찍다우다 삼기로와 균신도 줄바 차와데 단다 깨지게 줄와 라파다우데 베나 가서 가르스나 로케네 아니 시송 라데갈레 디디갈라 균신도 줄와다고 통기도와 디데 라파다우라 차와데 단다 깨지글라다 맞아 인바 차도겨라 돈딘도 가와스나 간단 균신도 줄비 차데다 미 수부데다 미세 마레데 다 그런 로 야라야라야라씩 존이지 규리 차시 규 신도 규종인지도 아무데 민라 되면 되제 가와스인데 레스노래
Next then comes birth. Birth is the present occurrence of all formations which did not occur previously. So birth or arising refers to the fact or to this aspect of something to arise anew that has not been there previously. So first it's not there and then later it's there. For example, when we look at a park or a field, and in 1 month there's no grass there, and then grass grows new. That's the birth or the arising, the coming into being of that grass. So when it first grows, when it first comes into being where there has not been any grass previously, that's then this birth, the present occurrence of something that has not been there previously. Subsistence is the remaining of that continuity. So after something has arisen, after this birth, then things do stay continuously for some time. So the aspect of a continuation to stay is this subsistence, that there is a continuum after something has come into being. This is then the subsistence. And there are two types of subsistence, of continuity. There's a coarse one and there's a subtle one. Because when we speak about coarse continuity, then we speak about the staying of the grass. So once in 1 month the grass has grown in this field or in this park, and then for some months it will remain there, right? That's the coarse kind of continuity that we see, that it continuously stays or is there without being destroyed, without dying away for several months. The subtle continuity is then that there's momentariness to the grass, to the phenomenon that we're looking at. There's momentary change, but there's a continuity of moments, of similar moments to stay similar. So it's again the aspect from the first arising to stay similar until it ceases to be both in a coarse or in a subtle understanding of the sense of continuum or subsistence. And then we have aging. Aging is the change in that continuity into something else. So of that continuity into something else. So aging refers to the aspect of the slight change that happens. And there again, we can look at a more coarse and a more subtle aspect of aging. So generally, aging refers to change. Change being the change that we experience, for example, as we grow older over years. When we're young, like we're born, there's birth, then as we grow up, we learn to walk, we learn all these different things, and then we grow older and older and older. And a way to understand this is then that this is really the progression through the years and seeing how the change happens from a young age to the time before we die. That's the coarse kind of aging or change we're referring to here. A more subtle understanding is the momentary change that happens. Every moment of that continuation of similar moments also contains some subtle type of change. So the momentary change from one moment to the next is also referred to as aging or as change here. So this does not refer to the age as the body age or anything like that. It refers to the aspect of change itself, either from moment to moment or the course kind of change over years in the continuum. So the aspect of change itself is referred to aging.
미다바니 균 직바데 균 직바데스 미다바 쉐바데 균 직바세 균 나르요바데 디네 치스코 체 마체네 디네 균데 마체네 아니 체송마지글라 아니 직바스 오텐데스인데 딜라양 차위 미다바다랑 라비 미다바스네 직바레 단지 슈바는 신신네 안조 단다 그나스나 깨지게 단다 깨네 송네야라 깨지게 가서 직네 니 깨지게 서버와 단지 쇼바게 미데당 아니 단데 미니데 다 차위 미다바 온도 삼는다나 단다데 마라와 단다데 빼자 된시겐데 당 아니 단지 몰라 빼자 마데미 미데도 카가라와 다데 차위 미다 온다 다 라페 미다 다 균기 미다베 온도 상노 당는 다양 직바도제 단지 쇼바게 미데 아니 단다 양 빼자 된데 아니 드린 공모 봐도 열라도 다 딜레장 슈체조 삼도 땅나 나닝기 미데 다랑 제스라도 다 딜레 쇼장도 코라 토마 메반데 단다 봐도 코르겐 미데 다랑 제스네라도 다티 균기 미다보다 다디 남신나다 유튜브에 삼네도 지디갑라 안데 지라페 미다고 첨보도 다 차웨 미다고스나 얘네 깨지깨지 양 아니 라 겨르데니 와서 간다레 미다고 쉐와데 균데 안에 체조에 정식 딘데식을 나버레스 미다와테스 디실라 두제수 춘비 천니시스 안에 이게 가 안에 미닥선디 시지도와 단지 야간의 독인 숨다 미다와 코롱진 디시부텔라 두제 탐지 미다바오 선 두제 미다바 춘비게 최시 선 두제기 최스네 라비감라 두제기 최 있나 걔네가 다 미다과 정신지 연구를 이렇게 되는 춘제기 층이 시시자고 걔네 대체라 민기 총네세 까분소 된기고 좀 주비다고 다 되면 두제 나가요 민시바 연구를 나 민기 총선다 베나 까와서 봄바소 된기고 잠선 된기고 베나 메람나 된기고데 가래 차신 색바라와 메데 근데 된기고데 디 아니 메스는 거의 명라 메스는 줘봐 메스는 줘비 차지도 왔다 디 다데데 말에 다데 양 수콩돌라라와 대이나지 된디기 명된 차신 색바데라 되니 메스는 줘비 차지 용기도 거의 명 어디 다데데 말에 어디 든 뭐주비 다줘봐 오선 다 촉스는 민선다 콜라데 된기 주비 차되나라 촉스는 람나데 빼나 매 람나 아마 아니 이게 아니 쟁보 매스는 디나라양 고 이게 디좀 매체도라양 다 그런 게지 이도 로파망보지 반나 빼나 마 아니 쟁보 매 안들라 하충 다음 이게 망보 좀 거기에라 계차 다 민게 따위 갑라야 되로 지 민게라 이게 민게 다지 매세라 되가라 그런 게 초반만 보지 초되어라 돼 민게 초 나서
Then we come to impermanence. Impermanence is the destruction of that continuity. So something like the impermanence refers to the aspect of things ceasing to be, things being like the continuity that was described before from the arising throughout the subsistence and aging to come to an end. there we also, as we have seen before, we can also speak again about a coarse aspect of it, or a coarse way of speaking about impermanence, and a subtle one. The coarse one refers to longer time spans. When we, for example, understand that the person who reads the book now is not the same person as is not the same as the person who who didn't read the book previously. That there's change that has happened. That the person who recited prayers in the morning is not the same. Is not exactly the same as the person who is sitting here now. So also the impermanence of from birth to subsistence, and then coming to an end in the end, like the cessation of the coming to an end of life. So that's a coarse kind of impermanence, indicating how things come to an end over longer time spans. And then there's also subtle momentariness, subtle impermanence, indicating how not only over longer time spans do things cease to be, but from moment to moment, every moment, in every moment, there's cessation. Every moment of existence ceases to be, and then there's a next moment that arises. So each moment of samsaric experience individually is an aspect of impermanence, ceases to be, and then there's also the cessation of longer continuums that we also referred, like that also come to an end, that are cessation. So actually this, together with the previous three, the beforegoing three aspects, so birth, subsistence, aging, and impermanence, these are the indication for something to be a conditioned phenomena. All conditioned phenomena are subject to arising, abiding, aging, and cessation. Or like in the translation here, birth, subsistence, aging, and impermanence. So for these four are called the four characteristics that indicate a conditioned thing. And so it's the aspect of each of those, the aspect of impermanence, that itself is the unconditioned phenomena. No, not the unconditioned, sorry, the non-concurrent formation. Here, it's the aspect of cessation, the aspect of abidance, and so on. And then there are still other non-concurrent formations. The next one that we will look at is the category of names. The category of names consists of the indications that simply express the identity of an object, such as pillar or vase. So the category of names refers to that which indicates just the mere essence of the meaning of a phenomena. So that might be the pillar, that might be the vase, any phenomena. For example, fire. Fire. The word fire is here, or the name is fire. It indicates a phenomena that is hot and burning. That's the definition of fire. But it's not the non-concurrent formation of the category of names does not refer to the sound when I say fire itself. That's a form, right? That was in the category of form, the sound itself. But the name, the indication of the essence of the meaning of the object. So this aspect of expression, not the sound, but the fact that it expresses something, is this category of names. And that includes many different aspects. If I say fire in English or me in Tibetan, that includes a whole number of different parts to it. There are vowels, there are consonants in the word. Each of these different aspects form together the word that expresses the meaning. So there's the F, there's the I, and so on, the R, the E. Like there are different vowels and consonants, and all of that together forms a word that expresses the essence of the meaning of fire. And so not the actual uttered word, not the sound that is that comes out of our mouth, but the word itself that expresses that meaning refers here to the category of names. So the name itself of that noun.
Tsiki tsokne döngi ngo dang kebar chate dönbar chebe ladang sos tsiki tsok sewante kandersina döngi ngo dang sadika la pena me la döngi ngo rwa me dang kebar sena pena zendingi me namna me degi kebar kare zendingi me imba ki kechute tenwa bumba sinamna ngo tene kang kebar de kare sena sergi bumba sinamna 디다오게 개발 잘때 오늘 뜸바르치르치 벤나 젠딩기 메스 닐람네 칙지 데 조비 차지도와 온데 민라 아니 칙라비어스 칙이 촉스네가라 젠딩기 메스 나데가라다 망보지 촉비 차지도와 온데 민라 촉비 칙이 촉네 된기모당 된기모 메당당 개발 젠딩기 me labjero ngotang kebar chartes ne zendingi me sene tsikde dombar chebege ladakso se ladasna ming daw chitarwa zendingi me se ming daw di ming na tsiki chola gres tene 이게 촉 shebada demen dojenan 이게 촉 sene 이게 촉 semade kanasna 지단기 약한 밍 생직 당 식생자 대니가기 좀 사기 시규를 산다오지 근데 이도 아다 소바 오세 니가기 좀 시규와 변나 이도 아sen 이게 아 코롱 두베 체도라 양 되네 차이 다 된게 둘친 망보지 총네 코나라 초용이라디 초비 차 되네 초비 차네 그런 얘기지 중위 차직 당 초비 차직이 민라 되네 얘기 초보스 다 디숨가르선 디숨가르 깨당게 뒤나양선 디 명당 초당 아니 칙당 이게 대숨자양 다 조체로 깨게 당지로와 아니 망제로 가와 분바 나도 젠딩기메 이게 아까라서 번도 탐제다 깨게 당다오지기 나나 뒤대도 뒤나양 다잠당 미자위 케바르 셈게 다르타네 조자롱 다조 단단데 데멘두제라 샤위 갑라 코랑 베나 이게 라야도 딜라 데멘두제라 마레스 디디 다 이게 라야 다레스 이나야드루 이게 아스네 두베체둘라 코랑 총비 차지여라 디레 베나 젠딩게 메스 디 다데 마레스 디 다데 수기 풍고나라 도레 데멘두제 마레 데멘두제 수셰 카야 마임바 단데 디니 가양 많이 봐 초비 차들라 달도 있음 땅네스 저자 디네 네 미타 kumbaala soba 간에 젠딩게 메라 소바 롱템바 속에 뉴바 첸지 단 뉴베기 차지도 와도로 이게 아다우지 두개라야 이게 자둘 망보 차완나 되네 이게 아생 이게 주도 되게 뉴비 쪽이 차지도 근데 뉴바 안에 젠덴 이 메스는 라데가블라 된 젠덴 당 메스는 라딩이 차라 차르네 되네 책지 이게 뉴비 차지도 와 되게 뉴바첸 다디 두제레스 난 규제 망보 총의 주제 상관 인도 두제레스 두제기 추수 똑바로
The category of words then are the names that show the identity of an object joined with its particularities. So when we don't have just a simple noun, just a simple name of a thing, but a nominal clause that expresses the meaning of the object itself with its specific characteristics, with its particularities, then this refers to words. So while the name, like fire was a name, was just the name of the thing itself, showing the essence, then if we now say the sandalwood fire, like the fire that is made of sandalwood, then that shows the particularity of that fire, what it is made of, like what it is burning. So it expresses some particularity together with the essence. So it's a whole nominal phrase. Or another example would be the golden vase, the vase that's made from gold. That also indicates the particularity, the quality or the substance out of which then the vase is made. So that shows a particularity. So here then we have the object, the essence of the object joined with some particularity, some specific characteristics of it. And so we're learning more about the object with these categories of words or nominal phrases. And then we have the category of letters. The category of letters are the syllables, such as A, which are the basis for composing both names and words. So we saw the names and the words, and these are made up of different letters, of consonants and of vowels that form these names and words. So those coming together, it's the aspect of the coming together of different letters that's here called letter. It's not the sound of each particular letter. That would be form, right? That would be an aspect of the aggregate of form, because the sound of each particular letter is made up of these sound particles. But the ability of pulling these together, the different particles, the aspect of these different particles being combined in the specific way of the sound, that's the category of letters here as the non-concurrent formation. So we have to understand that it's not the sound itself, but the aspect of pulling together or combining together the coming together of these different particles to form specific sounds. That is the here the category of letters. And so when we express any of these names, words, when we speak about letters, it's not the sound of the word itself, but the ability that or the potential for that sound, for that expression of the meaning that is here identified as being neither the sound itself, so not form, made of sound particles, neither is it consciousness, nor is it consciousness, but it's the non-concurrent formations of names, words, and letters are the potential, that which has the potential of that expression, of bringing those things together. For example, to convey the idea of sandalwood fire through this expression. So it's the potentiality, that which possesses the ability to make these form these expressions. So formation, that which conditions or brings together the expressions.
ngomba zole chupshipo de tsam sung sos tadi tanda de yen la demen tu che tanda chupshi thamba ro de re ngomba zogi nang la de taw chupshi de sung yore sina ngomba kumdu nang la tadi tengdu la chupshi tengdu la ane yangjar khashe je shamira ngomba zogi lo so la chupshi ngomba kumdu lo la nishu tsapshi tinda dene de chupshi tengdo la soso kiwo sen tian shan ro gre soso kiwo ne pakpi chue ma to pa wos ta soso kiwo le ta soso kiwo tsik de la de she to jamna ani le soso sane ani soso thade drwe na soso kiwo ta pena ngarang gi le kang sai ba ngarang di gi chesula ngarang rogire ma to nganyam do la mi shi be den le gi ma di 임백가나 소소기 레상네 아니 데 레당 툼바고니 소소 타데 도 드레나 아니 소소기오스 지단디 책들 더래 이나야 다들 소소기오네 팝이 체험 하도 봐세 딱 팝이 체험 하도네 네 사당보 데데 톱투나 통놈 덴바 통통나 데네 팝이 사토바라와 딤 하도기 바도라 데네 소소기오스 디 마톱네 수수기고 임비 차지여러와 온딜라는 수수기고 때문에 되제 디네 뱀시에 덴발라 따베다 디 수수기고 된라 뱀보 베나조 다 수수기고 강사 된조라 베나 뱀보 숲 유래 하나랑조라 디네 남시에 촉조당 군신라셔바 남시에 된조 유대라와 대변션 덴발라 따베 강사기 예와도 지라시고 네 주바 생지 샤야요 송아래 주바 세테멘 두제나나 주바 규단 제부 균메체 바라르 주바스 규단 제부 규페나 살라케게 규사나 디기 제우데안 하이 율라케 양 규미 율라케게 텐데 사요소나 야 디라텐냐 미 율라케 라소바텐조 네 균 마체바 바르 마체바 조아 리투도 다시 라노소소 유카리 사나 디당 라우 튠니 다다 달레 미 룸발라케 기교사 테네 바르체니다 미 룸발라 마케니 대소로지 니네 요마라바 다가이나메나 유사 사비질라니 코롱 바르 마체바르다 유코롱 용에기라고 치네 바르 마체바 덴데스니 조아 리투라나 라노소소라 게 드웨지로 온디 게 드웨게 덴데기 차데기 밍라 주비 차스는 this one is
so I didn't read that last paragraph. When these three are combined by a voice, mere sounds and their particularities can be mentally labeled and thus have the capacity to state or express things. They belong to the dhammas or formations. And now to continue. This number of 14 non-concurrent formations is what is mentioned in the Abhidhamma Kosha. according to the Abhidhamma Samuccaya, there are, in addition to the above 14 non-concurrent formations, also 10 further ones. So the 14 non-concurrent formations that we have seen so far are those that we find in the Abhidhamma Kosha. In addition to those 14, the Abhidhamma Samuccaya mentions 10 further non-concurrent formations. So the Kosha has 14 and the Samuccaya has 24 non-concurrent formations listed. And the 15th then in the Samuccaya is that of ordinary person. Ordinary person is the state of not having acquired the qualities of a noble being. It is a particular type of person, a labeling on the possession of mind and matter. So ordinary person refers to the fact that someone, based on individual karma that has been accumulated, one takes birth, and so according to the karma one has accumulated, one has similar kinds of experiences within samsara, and it just refers to the fact that the state of a noble being has not been obtained. So the aspect of being a noble being would be obtained from the first bhumi onwards. But someone who has not obtained that is labeled as an ordinary sentient being, as an ordinary person. And so it refers to the type of person that has not reached the state of a noble being. And so until the first bhumi is reached, there is this non-concurrent formation of ordinary being or ordinary person present. So just a note from me, ordinary person here referring to any kind of ordinary sentient being, not only humans. So yeah, this state of an ordinary person, of an ordinary sentient being, is then a label based on the individual possession of mind and matter, so body and consciousness of that ordinary person. And then the next non-concurrent formation is regular sequence. Regular sequence is the uninterrupted continuance of cause and effect. And so here, this refers that there's a continuum of causes and effects. If there are causes for being reborn, for experiencing rebirth within the God realms, then there will be the experience of being reborn in the God realms. If there are the causes for being reborn in the human realm, then one will be reborn in the human realm. So when all the causes and conditions for something, for a certain experience or for a certain birth are present, then they will definitely happen without interruption, without there being a time where nothing happens. So if the causes and conditions are present, if really all causes and conditions are present, then the result will happen. So if all the causes and conditions for being reborn in the human realm are present, then one will be reborn in the human realm. There's not then some interruption that will happen where no, not born, maybe now. But it's it is an uninterrupted, regular sequence of when the causes and conditions are present, then the result will happen. So the result will happen without any interruption when all the causes and conditions have been accumulated or when they are all present.
소설 예반이 유단 제부 타데바오 소설 예바스는 랑게 줄레 랑게 제부
Oh. Okay, let's wait for a second. Something got dark. Let's see whether he finds back. So the attendance question for today is Inka alone here or not? Does Inka have company in her office today?
Yeah, thank you.
And that can include human and non-human.
Yes, any sentient being.
Electricity just went out over here
Yeah.
in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
I'm on Pulbari.
Yep.
대로 되네 소설 예반이 유단 제부 타데바오 베나 줄라 주임반이도 예바 제부라 제부 임반이도 예바 네 유딜라 때네 지우디 아니 용에 임반 예바 아니 지우디데 유딜라 때네 용거바 임반 예바 디 예비 차되게 링라 소설 예바 예절라 조텔니 유단 제부 제수 튠바오 선송네 조텔 시바데니 가스 짐바 교 짐바도 땅송나 아니 지우 롱저 첨보 중개와 제수 튠바 아니 교 터바 터섬 지송나 아니 지우 터섬기 시랍 중개와 제수 튠바오 어딘데 다단다디 죽바라야 대당 소소르게 발라야 당 조질라 숨데다 할람 자우자우라 이나양지 라난 소소게 독자 토스카가 텐데스니 하고서 제 요바스는 주단제부 뉴르바 깨지깨지 유비 차지 네 요바스 요바스 네 고림네 주단제부 레레네 림신도 중화다 되나 sabun tap tene nyugo ke tene sabun nyugo damma tene mendo la soba de rimba shindo ke den mingla ni korim sne labgyos tu ni ani yudan debu gundu jungwi yungi nekapso yungi nekaps pena 제 karma dang chuso dang dawa dang lo dang wo denesne yungi nekapsigi mingla di nekapgi 차되게 명되라 뒤스 되nesne 라비여스 소원 율 세원데 촉주 탐제나 유단 제부 여반에 딱바고 세 율스나 촉 샤클로 누장 촉 시기 된데게 촉 된조라 아니 율스네 다 되nesne 되게 차지 여러분 샤르게 차 유샤르게 차들라 되는 제부 율스 따바 높게 차들라 제부 높스네 다샤발레스 데디 율 안디양 디 사샤데랑 디 믹셀라 마레다 디 코롱게 촉게 차데라지 다샤바 차 베나 가서 단다 샤르게 촉스네 다쇼게라 다양 룽바 카가라 조숨나 룽바 카가니 양 디쇼라 따디 갑라 양디양 누비양 통스기라 어딘데스네 간다랑 랑게 촉네 다촉 규델라데네 디우다 샤르람 호암 누슨데 딱바 안딘데게 딱비 차데 민라라비여스 네 장가니 장니 두제남 소소로 타데발레다 장가 제 숨시 아둘라서 장가 자비 차데게 민라스 디네스 바바인스 디네 촉바스는 유 아니 미제레 니레 숨레 로캄낭라 미제레 니레 숨레 칠라데네 디우 미망보 촉바스 디 촉비 차시다다 미디 강사데랑데 강사 미디 수 풍보 대소데 감마레다 미기 촉비 차시여로 온디밀라 촉바스 can do with negable souls.
So then we have the next non-concurrent formation, which is definitive distinctiveness. And that definitive distinctiveness is the difference between causes and effects. So here we are referring to the specific distinctiveness of the cause, the distinctiveness of the result that arises from that cause. So there are distinct causes and distinct results, distinct causes leading to distinct results. So based on a particular kind of cause, a particular kind of result arises and not something else. So we need to understand that there are specific causes lead to specific results and not to other things. And so that is the definitive distinctiveness. Then the connected link is the relatedness between causes and effects. So that then highlights the part that there's the connection between related causes and conditions. For example, when we that study and reflection as the cause leads to the related result of the wisdom that arises from studying and reflection. So that highlights in the causal relationship here, the fact that the result is related to the cause. These previous aspects here need to be understood in light of the fact that they all sound very similar, but they have slightly different aspects. They look at slightly different angles of these causal relationships. And so note the slight difference that is highlighted in these different non-concurrent formations. The next one then is the speed. Speed is the rapid occurrence of causes and effects. That there's a not uninterrupted momentary connection when there's a cause and there's effect. Then the sequence is the gradual occurrence of individual causes and effects. That refers to the fact that there's a gradual development in a causal sequence. For example, when we plant a seed, then the sprout arises from the seed. From that, from the sprout, then comes the stamen. From that, the stalk, the bud, and so forth. So we have the gradual sequence until we have the flower and the fruit in the end. That's the sequence where the result of the cause is the cause for the next result, and so on. Then time refers to the different durations. Time is the duration of occurrence of a continuity of a cause and effect. So here we can speak about different lengths of time. We have minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years. And so depending on the course of the subtlety or the kinds of causes and effects we're talking about, we have these time spans that are indicated. Then the location is the name of the 10 directions from the existence of cause and effect in any of them. Here we are referring to the 10 directions of the 4 cardinal directions, northeast, south, west, and the intermediate directions, as well as above and below. And so these are ideas, these are imputations that we make based on where we stand. If we look at something, it might be to the south from us, right, or it might be in the south now. But if we're in another country, if we're in another place, then the same object might not be in the south. So it's to indicate, it refers to the indication or this idea of a direction in relation to ourselves that indicates the location, the cardinal directions, and so on. And that where we are within the location. And then number is the system of enumeration, of enumerating all the individual and different formations. So when we have different kinds of formation, different kinds of condition phenomena, we can enumerate them, we can count them, we can say there's 1, there's 10, there's 100 different things or individual formations, individual conditioned phenomena. So each aspect can be known individually and enumerated. And then the next one is then gathering. Gathering is the time when the conditions for cause and effect have come together. So gathering referring the coming together, for example, of different people. If there are many people in one place, it's a gathering. It doesn't refer to the individuals, the aggregation of them, but the fact of the causes and conditions being there for people coming together. So the aspect of gathering these different people together itself is the gathering rather than the aggregation of many people. So in this way, this coming together of the different people, for example, would be gathering as the non-concurrent formation.
Tidao ngumba tsu nang la ta ya gangi chupshi de gu teng do la tin tin ma la so so ke wo dang sene de ba zi ne lem ne chu thang ba sha ne demen de je ngumba kundu tar na de demen de je nye shi thang ba de zi wa yin su sung wa de nye shi bo de da ge chön ne do dong yang ane sang je ge dan da jelwa nang la kan je sung du sin na ne chu tym bi do nang la do dan demen de je sa dün ja thang ba yang sung yo res tin데 숨는데 디다기 쳤네 세티멘 두제 변나 둥자 정말 tin데 요레스 숨아래 뜬 요레스 도이 나는 숨 요레스 대 쳤네 디 인두 뱀시게 내갑라 딱비스 뱀보당 셰바게 내갑라 딱샤바다 변나 단다 때면 두제 니슈보데조 탐제양 뱀보당 셰바 인켄직라 아니 디지 독비기 차직라와 독차직라 되네 tin데 nekap chigla tene chi ming ta sha do tan da de min du je sine o tin데 ge ta pe chu ta gyugin gi du che sha ba gyuje mo bo so ba ni yin chi du je sun ni du go las yang pembo dul du ba ni mai ba sal shi ri ba ni mai ba tene chawa ta chi tin데 je de ge gang ane 뱀시 강도야 두 메요 바 tene 망보지 ta de min du je ni shi 잡시 잠기 책이 말에 둥갸 잠기야 책이 말에 도도양 di zhao dinzo bei mangbo yongyu re so dinzo sine shebar chao sine sungbaredo.
So as shown by these 24 non-concurrent formations, dharmas labeled at the occasion of mind and matter should be grouped under conditioned things, and it should be understood that there are many that belong to neither mind nor matter. So we had the 40 non-concurrent formations that are listed in the Abhidharma Kosha. In addition to that, we now saw the non-concurrent formation starting with ordinary person, the 10 that were enumerated in addition in this Abhidhamma Samuccaya, making 24. But in the commentary, it also mentions that in some sutra, it talks about 700 non-concurrent formations. So what we can see is that there are many things that we can identify as non-concurrent formations. It's not exclusive when we speak about the 24. That's one way of putting it, but there are many things that can fall into the category of non-concurrent formations. Not even 700 would be enough. Everything that is neither matter nor consciousness, and that is a conditioned thing, a conditioned phenomena, can be labeled as a non-concurrent formation, something that we can identify or conceptualize as a conditioned phenomena, which is neither mind nor matter, then refers to non-concurrent formations. So for those to come about, there need to be causes and conditions, and while they're conditioned by causes and conditions, they're not made up from particles, nor do they fall into the definition of something clear and aware, so the definition of consciousness. And so falling into being conditioned by causes and conditions, but neither falling into the definition of matter nor consciousness. All these different things that we can label or impute in that way fall into the category of non-concurrent formations. And those are really beyond count. Here we saw the 24, but that's not enough. Neither are 700 enough, or all that there could be. There are many non-concurrent formations that we could enumerate.
네. 두제지 풍보대 갑텔라 안에 조심당 총된 많이 배되면 두제 니슈스긴지당 안에 조심당 총된도 총방아 총기군의 총된 심중 납중 나직스네 데레스네 시비군의 두제지 풍보대 데레스네 시신 바레스.
So by now having looked at the 24 types of non-concurrent formations that we have just seen that are enumerated here, as well as the 51 mental states that we discussed previously, we have now covered the concurrent and the non-concurrent formations, and therefore the discussion of the aggregate of formations is concluded. So let's stop here for today and do the dedication and aspirations together.
Jambala Bawe Jindara Kemba Dang Kundu Sambu Deyan Deshen De Da Kunje Jesu Taloji Kewan De Da Tamje Rabdu Ngon Dusum Shebe Jalwa Tamje Ji Ngowa Kanla Chondo Ngaba De Dagi Kebe Zawa De Gwen Yang Sangbo Jeche Rabdo Ngo Varayenye Sunam Deye Tamje Seba Nye Tomne Nyebe Chanam Pamje Ne Kenga Nache Bala Mechoba Ye Sebe Chole Ndowa Ndolo Varaye Shon Kewa De Kewo Kun Sunam Yeshe Chozo Shin Sunam Yeshe Le Jong Wa Tamba kunye tombara sho lo chu su do wara chinge labdo so chu lamdo do wara chinge labdo so lam tulba sel wara chinge labdo so tulba yeshe so char wara chinge labdo so naso chilajayam.
Lasso Jelajam.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're giving us a lot of help with the question today. By holding the shimi.
well, people need to know what the
Just
question
in
is.
case.
Just in case they didn't
Just
see
in
it.
case.
Just in
course.
case they didn't see her.
Yes, of course.
It's so nice to have her on days like this when it's actually cold.
I think you need a dog for that.
She's
They're a
quite
bit big.
warm.
Is she? Well,
Yeah.
pretty good.
Cats are
Oh,
warmer
and
than
that's a
humans.
lot.
She looks like a very nice cat.
She has a
tune
bad
out.
reputation.
Oh,
She
you're
has a very bad
disappearing. Oh, no, there you
reputation.
are. That's
She
a
has a
lot of
very
cat.
bad. She grew a little bit. She's still much smaller than my other cat.
Oh my God.
But my other cat is also well, I don't know what to do with him right now. He
You need some mind training.
no. Now this one, Rigba, is actually the nice cat compared to the other one.
Oh my
What?
God.
What happened to Paula? Paula